What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down what's happened to the market thus far and some very important time frames and levels to be watching for. But before I break anything down, let me just mention a few things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 6 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you put in $25,000, you're guaranteed 70 free stocks plus 12 months of level 2 data. The offer ends in just 2 weeks. Check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. Looking at SPY, we had something very interesting developing on the chart. I just wanted to call this out. We have this orange trend line right here. If you guys look at this orange trend line, this was our previous resistance becoming support. This was resistance. It was resistance. We managed to break above it, and we've been kind of ping-ponging off of this for the last couple of weeks. So today, I mentioned to you all that we're going to likely test this trend line, and I thought we might bounce off of it for the time being. But if we had broken this, we would turn a lot more bearish. As of right now, we're still above it. We actually bounced off of it as expected, but SPY is showing some weakness. So why is SPY starting to show some weakness? That's because on the 4-hour time frame, we got another bearish crossover on the PPO, and we had a lot of these bearish divergences. It's starting to play out a bit, but even if we drop just like we get a really small drop, it could still technically play out with a very small drop. It doesn't mean it has to be like a massive crash that forms because of it, and that's not what I'm seeing so far, because the market is still holding this support. We're still seeing SPY hold up this support for the time being, and we'll see if this breaks or not. I just want to take it one level at a time because of how much trickery there is. So what's going on right now for the much shorter time frames, the much more immediate term, I just want to call out that we have this inverse head and shoulders that is developing on the 5 minutes time frame. But that does not mean we're just going to break out instantly, because we're struggling to do so. If you look at the 5 minute time frame, we're just chopping around this 460 area. If you want to be bullish, you want to see it break and hold did I say 460? I mean 456 area. The 456 area is where we're chopping around. Sorry about that, guys. 456.25 is where we have to break out from and try to push up to 456.8 to turn a bit more bullish. And as of right now, resistance happens to be at this 50 EMA area. So we'll see if this could break or not, but we're just kind of chopping so far, not really doing a whole lot. If we're bearish, we want to see it retest this imbalance at 455.63 and then lose it. Then we have 455.5. Then below that, we could get very close to like 455.1. So there could be a bigger drop if we lose 455.5. And if we break the 50 EMA, then 456.25, we turn bullish. So watch those levels very carefully. We're very choppy right now on SPY. We have an inverse head and shoulders, but there's no guarantee it's going to play out. So be very careful and watch it very, very closely. When it comes to Tesla, we're actually looking decent because one thing I mentioned, okay, was that 233 level on Tesla, and also the very important supports that we had. If we zoom out of Tesla's chart, I'm going to go back to like the daily just to show you where this line was. When you go to the daily chart, right, you will notice that Tesla had a tendency of holding this white trend line right here. I made this white so you could recognize it much easier. We're holding this, we're uptrending quite decently so far, and as of right now, there's no sign of this thing breaking down. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see it's still holding support quite decently, and this gives Tesla some potential to try to bounce from here. Now, if we're bearish, let me go over the bearish case. You want to see Tesla basically, first off, we want to close below the trend lines. You want to see it close below 235. That could be the first small bearish signal. To be more bearish, you want to see it lose 233, 232, and then 230. 230 specifically is going to be critical support. If we ever lose this or we close below this, okay, we're going to be very bearish on Tesla. That's going to be the more bearish case. Tesla's going to be sinking like a rock to much lower levels if we lose 230. If we're bullish, you want to see this basically hold this trend line. That's what Tesla has been doing. And you eventually want to see a breakout. You want to see Tesla basically get above this blue trend line, break 250. If we manage to break out like that, we're going to turn a lot more bullish, and we can see this thing pushing for like 260 plus. Right now, we're getting stopped by that 238 resistance. We also have 240. I want to see Tesla try to get above 242 to turn a bit more bullish as well. To be like a little bit bullish, you want to get above 242. Then we have this imbalance up here at 246.8, which is going to be tested next. So watch that resistance. Right now, we're basically going to be testing 238 as resistance. If we break above that, our next level is going to be 240. If we break that, then we could see a bigger push to the upside. If we come down, watch the trend line as our support. We want to hold this trend line depending on the timing. You could go on the 4 hour, you could even go on the daily and draw it out. But so far, Tesla's holding up decently. And we want to see this thing just continue to hold for now. On the QQQ, this is showing some weakness, okay? It has come down a bit, but the buyers are still trying to defend it at this demand zone right here. So even though it's showing some weakness, and I was talking about this earlier on, even yesterday I was saying the QQQ is looking kind of weak. It's not the end of the world. What's dragging this down would be like Microsoft and also Nvda. Nvda is playing a big role too. The chart does look a bit more bearish. We could see a slight pullback right here. It depends on if we could hold are basically the low we made today, this like 382 area. To be bearish, you want to see it lose 385. If that fails us, we're going to be watching it come down to 384 flat. Then we have 382.5. If we lose that, 380 is coming, then 378. So I could see some downside on the QQQ is looking kind of weak, but not extremely weak to the point where it's going to be crashing. I don't think that's going to happen. I still think it's going to break 400 before the year ends, and I think there's going to be a bounce coming. But on the daily, we officially got a bearish cross on the PPO. Watch that 382.7 area. That's where we have the 20 EMA. If we lose that, there could be a risk of this thing coming down towards 378 for a slight pullback, but it doesn't have to be that extreme. I think it's going to bounce anyways, like very close to that area. I don't see it crashing like 20 points or 30 points. I could see it dropping a little bit, but I think that very soon it's going to find its bottom. On Nvidia, we're testing 450. That's going to be a very important level. I actually have the levels drawn out on Nvidia thus far. It's still looking kind of weak, so watch 450 as support. If we lose 450, Nvidia is going to be coming all the way down towards 444. That's going to be our next critical level. There's some support at 447.5, but 444 happens to be a big level. And we also have 440 below that, right near this imbalance. Nvidia is continuing to sink, so make sure you watch support right over there. Resistance, we have a very important level at 455, 457, then we have 460 above that. As of right now, looking weaker. Make sure you watch our support and see how it holds. Still looking kind of weak on the daily. There's no sign of Nvidia getting a big bounce yet, since we ended up breaking below the 50 EMA on the daily. This is what's dragging the market down to some extent. Also, Apple's playing a slight role, but Apple's not looking that bad at the same time. It's looking a little bit more bearish, but not extremely, because we're still above 188. If Apple loses 188, you're going to be watching 187. And if we lose that, that's when it could turn a little bit bearish and come down to like 185. So far, it is selling off slightly. It's on a very slow downtrend. It's like falling in slow motion, but it's not looking as weak as a stock like Nvidia so far. So we're going to be watching resistance at 189. If it breaks above that, it could get close to 190. For support, watch 188.5, 188 flats. Then we have 187 basically coming next. That's where our 20 EMA happens to be. If it loses 187, I see it coming all the way down to like 185. I do believe Apple's looking a little weak, but like I said before, guys, it's a tricky market. Don't expect a big crash or anything like that. Just wait and see how it holds, because you could see it came down towards like 187 today. It got bought back up. Now it's almost at 189. So there's still buyers defending. We're kind of like going up and down with a slight downward thrust to it. And that's why I was warning everyone, especially yesterday, that I would not turn into a mega perma bear. I would just watch and see how the charts move intraday. There could be some selling that comes, but ultimately the bulls are going to take over, and they're going to push us towards the end of the year, possibly starting like mid next week, if not a little bit later. So I just wanted to warn you about that, guys. Just be a little patient. The market could kind of like stall for a bit, but there's going to be upside coming later on. And once again, I mean, if the market is still kind of slow for the remainder of the week, I just see buying opportunities, big buying opportunities for the end of the year squeeze. And I don't really have a different view for now. So SPY, it's trying to break out now. We're going to be watching to see if it could achieve this, but still looking kind of flat right here. It's trying to break out. So we'll see if this inverse head and shoulders plays out or not. So watch your levels. It's making attempts to break. Tesla's also trying to push up. We'll see if it can break its 200 EMA and try to get back above 238. As of right now, it's still getting stuck at that level. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Hopefully this intraday update was kind of helpful. Please be very patient in a crazy market like this. As you can tell, the market sold off a bit, but now we're seeing some buyers defending. We're not going to fall in a straight line. We're not going to crash, in my opinion. I think that there are going to be ups and downs. I think that the market could remain weak or maybe like very sideways and weak for some time. But it's not going to be a big crash, and we're eventually going to see a big bounce, I would say, starting within a week and a half to 2 weeks from now. So, once again, guys, buying opportunities are coming. Watch your levels. There's going to be some fun intraday price action. We'll just be very patient until the next leg up comes very, very soon. All right. Have a great day. Thank you for listening, and peace out.